But I mean, we always look at innovation. We think that it's going to make more of an impact in the short term. It always makes a larger impact in the long term. So we've seen it with global warming and all these things, and really anything. Like hedge funds started as a cottage industry in the 70s.
Hey folks, Flo here with Blockchain North. We're at the Virgo CX kickoff evening for Futurist 2023. I'm here with James, and I'm going to ask you to introduce yourself. Give me your who, what, why in 30 seconds or less.
You bet, thanks. I'm James Burron. I'm co-founder and partner with CASA, the Canadian Association of Alternative Strategies and Assets. It just rolls off the tongue so easily. And we are really an association of alternatives in Canada. We represent all parts of the industry: private equity, real estate, hedge funds, venture capital, crypto, absolutely everything. And our members include pension plans, family offices, asset managers, and all sorts of service providers. So we do pretty much everything all the time, everywhere.
I was about to cut you off. Almost 30 seconds. Well done. So you have a unique vantage point on the investment community. So I have to ask you, what is the appetite for crypto within the investment community?
It's gone up and down. I mean, it has to do with the prices, as most things. As things make money, people get more interested. But actually, we had a family office summit last April, and we had a presenter. We had 10 table talks going simultaneously. The one that got the most number of people at it was one that was talking about Ethereum. And I think a lot of the family offices looked at it and said, I kind of know about this thing. I might buy it in 50 years. It's down by half. I like that. And then I think they just started getting interested because eventually they start to get up on the learning curve. Yeah. And at some point they'll get into it, and many are already in. But it's a bit of a process with the education.
I think the term is price discovery.
Yeah, price discovery and just discovery of this thing. Like, they've never really seen it before. Like, who knew about hedge funds? Who knew about venture capital? Yeah. Who knew about so many things? Everyone knows about real estate, but then how do you invest in it? So it's all these things of, what is it? How can I profit from it? How can I get into it? And how do I get out? And what's the whole investment thesis? That all has to line up for investors.
Lots of need for education, it sounds like.
Yeah.
So how would you describe the state of the Canadian crypto market today?
Well, it's growing like crazy. I remember when 3IQ and others were coming out with this. I was in the OSC meeting when they were talking about all the reasons why really crypto shouldn't be in investor portfolios. And I was thinking in my head, these are pretty easy arguments to debunk. Like, this is kind of a slam dunk here. There's lots of reasons, like this non-correlation, the inflation thing. It's not a fiat currency, so we've all seen inflation and such. There's all these investment thesis areas, and now they're working with all the custody and such. Like, I got my first Bitcoin from one of the original Ethereum guys. Lost my password immediately.
I was going to ask what year?
Whenever it was $450. So, not the smartest tool in the shed here, but as soon as they came out with the products and funds, okay, no problem. It's a security. It can go on to the next person very easily. I don't have to worry about losing my password. It's all set up. So these kinds of innovations, which seem pretty basic and obvious, just take a while to come to fruition, and then get into investor portfolios in a form they understand. So rather than just saying, here's this magical thing, I can't figure it out. Okay, here's something a framework around it. Okay, now it makes sense.
So where do you see the market in a year?
In a year, who knows? But I mean, we always look at innovation. We think that it's going to make more of an impact in the short term. It always makes a larger impact in the long term. So we've seen it with global warming and all these things. And really anything. Like, hedge funds started as a cottage industry in the 70s. Derided, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s. Now, hedge funds are like, yeah, everybody's in it. Now what's next? Same thing with ventures going mainstream. So all these things are going mainstream. The only difference is that crypto came from retail, it's going up to institutional instead of starting in institutional land and going into retail. So that's a big difference that I think is interesting.
Kind of from bottom up, yeah. Can you help us wrap up with a final message in 10 seconds or less?
I think if people are interested, they should really educate themselves. Like, it's a pretty old mantra. Go to events. We have tons of stuff. We have stuff on our website. We have publications about crypto. We have the Canadian crypto funds update that we do every month. Talk about the size of the industry. Obviously, it's gone down from its height, but there's a lot of products in there that people can get access to without having to lose their password, which I think is pretty important.
It is. Thanks, James.